A train wrecked to spin fire. The NFT analyzer, diving deep into projects. He's the crypto energizer. From mint coins to tokens, he's got all the intel. Web3 is a tree to show you where to excel. He's got the insights like a digital magician, unveiling secrets of the blockchain with precision. Wild stories from the web, he's always in the know. Crypto community, vibing where the treasures flow. Web3 wonders.
So without an immune system, we die. Without an immune system, do AI agents and does the ACP die as well? Dude, something I think we're going to figure out today. Welcome to the Swarm Report, guys. We're joined by Whitney from Ringfence, a project that's upcoming on Genesis. Something to be really, really excited about. It's one I've got circled as, for me, I think the top drop over the next few weeks. Again, at least something kind of special. Whitney, welcome, man.
Thanks, Hudah. Appreciate you having me on.
Heck yeah. Yeah. It's funny. We're always trying to stay ahead of like the metas, the always changing metas in virtuals. And that's been going on the past couple of weeks. The Genesis launches have kind of fizzled out a little bit. There's been some cool launches for sure, but fizzled out. And we've been talking a lot here about focusing on the teams, the great teams, the ones who have an idea, have a product that actually makes sense and can work and actually can grow. And a lot of those have already launched and had launched maybe a couple months back. Like we've been scouring for these old, established projects. What we have here, I think, is perfect storm of one that hasn't launched yet, but is the product, is coming from a person and a team who can deliver that product. So that I've got this circled as an extra special incoming drop. So again, really excited to get into it here. Do you want to do a quick intro of yourself and then what you're building? What is Ringfence? Oh, and by the way, shout out to you guys, because you guys are getting a ton of mindshare, and I don't even think you're running any kind of mindshare campaigns. I checked the new Arbus Chirps, whatever this is called, like dashboard, and you guys are there like what, top 5 again? I don't think you have any campaigns going on, so GG's there.
Yeah, shout out to our intern. He's a legend. So we were fortunate to have somebody come on, and I'll give my intern a sec. We were fortunate to have somebody come on at the beginning of 2025 who really provided this like connection with the crowd on X. And for a product, distribution is almost everything, right? The founding team is really everything, but distribution is key, especially when you want to deliver a product. So I think that teams out there could serve themselves better if they spent 2 or 3 months on the front end really focusing on not promoting yourself, but connecting with your community, finding what the pulse is and messaging accordingly. So big ups to our intern, who a lot of people have come to know through the Oversub Club podcast. With regards to my intro, it's a long one, right? I'm long in the tooth for the crypto community, as people would say. I'm like a dinosaur, being that I'm in my early 40s, but I've been in the space for quite a while, right? I bought the top in 2017 with my entire life savings. I have that record and lost it all. And then I just figured it out, right? Like I got involved in mining first with Ravencoin. I was on the Ravencoin Genesis block and started a podcast on the tail end of that to really make people more aware of mining. Over the course of 4 years, the podcast evolved from like this degen hangout on X. I mean, we had show titles like Cookies and Cock Rings, right? Just to give you an example of like how off the wall we were, to then transitioning into a professional Bitcoin focused mining podcast, which I was fortunate to grow to be pretty big. And
How big?
Through that podcast, as you experience, right, your audience feels like they know you. So like they hear you every day, you're talking to them, you're giving them an insight into things that they may or may not want to invest in. There's a connection. And I was fortunate to build a pretty good following through that, make a ton of great contacts. I know people ping me all the time. They're like, oh, so-and-so is following you on X. And like, it's all from the podcast and all from Compass Mining. But on the back of the podcast, I launched Compass, and Compass took off like a rocket. I mean, no one was ready for it, right? Like we were three guys who were super excited about what we were building. We believed that institutional mining was the death of Bitcoin and that we needed more distributed hash rate. So we set out to provide a system that would give retail the ability to mine Bitcoin at industrial scale. So what we were doing is essentially taking all of our capital. We were bulk buying machines and bulk buying hosting space, and then we were packaging it into one machine, one space packages and selling those to the community. And when it took off, man, we were scared. We launched in that first month, we did $16,000 in sales, right? So like we spent 6 months building this, all of our money, and we were looking at each other like, maybe this is a flop. And then the month after we did 1 million in sales, the month after we did 4 million in sales. Then we closed funding from Galaxy, Coin Fund, and a ton of great VCs. And inside of the first 12 months of operation, well, 14 months of operation, we did $525 million in sales.
Wow.
On healthy margins. We grew the team from 0 to 96 people. We helped tens of thousands of people mine Bitcoin. And we did our part to what we saw it as right the wrong that was happening with Bitcoin mining, which is what we're most proud of. And at Compass Mining, you can still go through and see kind of the impacts that the mining operations have. Our goal with Compass, and it's like my life's goal, is to serve as many people as possible. I was involved in a really, really bad car accident when I was driving to work one day in 2010, and I got blasted in the media, right? And I got blasted in the media for like a mistake I'd made in college, right? And it changed my life. Like in the course of that accident, unfortunately, a young lady passed away, right? And she passed away like at my feet. Like, I mean,
Wow.
she was running across the street. She ran out into traffic, and I happened to be the car that she met. And it was very, very sad.
Wow.
But that changed my life. At the time, I was managing a hotel, or managing a coffee shop in a hotel. And from that day on, I was like, I got to do more. Like, I have to serve other people. I felt in a way that like now I was living for two, right? And I'd done a ton of research on her, and she was like so altruistic, so charitable, giving her time. So I made a commitment at that time to serve 1 million people before I die. Like I have to positively impact 1 million people. So I started off with my wife mentoring people around the country. So I traveled around with my wife. We'd speak to big rooms of people, stadiums in some cases, about entrepreneurial behaviors, managing your finances, getting your relationships in order, just being a better person and setting yourself up for success. And then that led me to crypto, which led me to the podcast, which led me to Compass. And then Compass was the fortunate smash success that we never would have expected. And then I crashed out hard, right? It was more than I expected, faster than I expected. The challenges were bigger than I expected. And I was completely unexperienced, right? Like nobody is really ready, I don't think, to go from 0 to $500 million in revenue and a team of 100 people that fast. And I didn't adjust well. But fortunately, I still have all of the experience of actually building the thing, right? And now I have the experience of understanding what it looks like to scale that quickly. So you mentioned earlier that like right now with virtuals, you're betting on the team. You're betting on the virtuals team. You're betting on all of these Genesis teams. And the thing that I think people should understand about me is that I have a tolerance for pain higher than most people. I'm a cockroach. I can survive anything. We started Ringfence 2.5 years ago. We have only raised, about $2 million, a little over that, which anyone who's building an AI understands that 2.5 years on a $2 million budget is lean, right? But everyone gave me time to figure it out. And now I'm a problem, right? So I was able to stay in the industry long enough, get enough experience, build enough infrastructure that when the opportunity presented itself with virtuals, now we're ready with Ringfence to actually put out a product that people will use. And that's what we're excited about. So all of the data infrastructure that we have built, all of the digital provenance tech that we have built, everything now will go to serve agents that are building and working on virtuals ACP. So yeah, our goal is to get in here, start mapping the ecosystem, start understanding what's going on, start seeing what the normal behavior should look like. And then we can introduce security that will spot anomalous activity, ring fence off these threat actors, and protect the entire ecosystem. So it's our goal to do that.
That's great, dude. A lot there and some heavy stuff there. And also, this gives me the opportunity to say something I've been saying most of these, especially the more recent shows, how, I don't know, important it is to get people like you on the show, for the community to get to meet you and for them to see that there are some teams here and some people that are different. They're different. They're like a different, I don't want to say quality. Everybody's awesome. Like, people are great, but there's a different quality of builder here in some of these projects. And they're the ones I'm excited to chat with, that I'm excited for you guys to get to meet here too. And those are the projects I want to bet on, which is the opportunity Virtuals is giving us here through these Genesis launches. So I'm just saying, I think we got another great one here.
Well, to
Um,
that point, I want to jump in there because I do like a comparison is dangerous, right? Especially as a founder, there are so many great first-time founders that are building on virtuals that we'd be remiss to not shout out them, right? Like the flight team. I haven't been to the U.S. in a couple of years. I grew up here, but I live in Europe. Came back, drove over to Chicago, to the Midwest, and met a couple of guys from the flight team. They're dope, right? Like I loved their product because I come from, like, I worked at Hilton. I come from a hospitality background. I think they're going to crush it, and I think that it is like teams like that who are actually going to start bringing in the real adoption. Truthfully, Ringfence is unsexy, right? Like it's security, right? So it's infrastructure. But when I look at the ecosystem, the easiest correlation that you can paint with what Ringfence is building and like previous cycles is you want to think of Ringfence kind of like Chainlink for agentic networks is the easiest thing that you should think of. Like
huh.
we help with the not only coordination and orchestration of data, but then we take action on the back end of that to make sure that we optimize networks.
Interesting. All right. Well, then I'm gonna have a lot of questions when we get into this. So maybe just start with like the like, I don't know, 1,000-foot view. What is ring fence, and then we'll dig into the specific parts of how it works. Yeah. What is ring fence, and what's the problem it's solving here?
So to cut down on the word salad, right? Ring fence is modern cyber defense to solve modern threats. That's the easiest way to think of us. What we're seeing right now in the world, and AI exacerbates this problem, is the proliferation of social engineering scams, right? So social engineering scams are essentially when a threat actor or AI now monitors your activity online, and they are looking for weaknesses, right? So maybe it's your daughter takes a flight to Jamaica for spring break, and there's an event that can be exploited, and AI can capture your voice with just 15 seconds of audio. So then AI emulates your daughter. It calls dad and says, "Hey dad, I'm in Jamaica. I ran into some life-threatening problem, and the only way out of it is for you to send $10,000 right now and get me out of this trouble." Right now, I'm a dad. I've got a daughter. If it was my daughter, like immediate transfer. I'm not even going to question if it's legitimate or not. And this happens over and over and over again. It's one of the biggest current scams that are out there, right? These social engineering scams. And they're growing by double-digit percentages every year. And it's going to continue unless somebody steps in. So it's our goal to start with agents, use this technology to learn how AI agents are operating, protect AI agents first, understand what good agents are and what bad agents are, and then later come out with a solution for human cyber defense that we can then grow to scale, right?
Interesting.
Like you have to think of it from my point of view. Compass does 9 figures of revenue a year on healthy margins still, right? Every year. So for me to jump into something else, it has to have bigger potential than that, right? I got to have something that like gets me out of bed and gets me excited. And like, I don't mean to sound crass, right? But I already got that thing. So if I'm going to go through the struggle of building something again, it's got to at least be bigger than that thing.
I mean, dude, one of my questions, and I had saved this for a little later, is what was it about security that made you like, well, get your ass up and be like, this is the thing I'm going to be putting my 100% into. What clicked here? Was it a specific incident that happened? Was it seeing all the threats across crypto? Everybody's has their story of getting got, signing a transaction, getting socially. And actually, I saw this morning of a friend who got socially engineered over in the Bitcoin space, had like multiple wallets drained, right? Was there a moment you're like, this for agents, someone's got to fix it? That's going to be me.
Yeah. The first thing is that we've been in the space for a while, right? And as we've been building this data infrastructure, Ringfence has been compared to other projects, and the first of those was Story. And the reason for that comparison was because our first product that we released was called Escher. Escher was essentially Mid-Journey meets, blockchain technology. So you could generate AI images, you could move them on chain, mint them as NFTs, sell them, transfer them. All your IP was included in the NFT that you minted. In my opinion, as we were assessing the business, Story raised, well, I mean, 8 figures.
Are we
right?
talking Story Protocol, like the
Story
IP
protocol.
token? That okay?
Yeah, Story Protocol. They, pardon me. They raised 8 figures of capital. They've got AI16 or A16Z behind them, right? They have all of the connections to the major players in the creative space, whether it's Hollywood or the music industry. So they've got that on lock. On top of that, I got to know the Story team, and they're fucking awesome, right? So like, I got to this place with what we were building where I said, I think our tech could be better used elsewhere. And I think Story is going to dominate this vertical. And I like them. So I'd rather instead use what we've built to see how we can supplement Story rather than compete with Story.
That's
Because like,
super cool. Well, that's cool. Just seeing it, be like, they got that covered. They're cool. We got. We'll do our other thing.
well, and the other side of this is that the demand for Story is it's really not yet proven. I believe that they'll get traction. But from a business standpoint, frankly speaking, we just didn't raise enough money to survive long enough to compete with them. And like I said, I think they have that on lock. The other comparison that people have made is Vana, right? And a similar story. Vana, I think, is taking a very creative approach to data collection and monetization. And I think that their team is amazing. Anna is, I mean, she's one of the coolest founders that I've ever met. She knows her stuff. She's very, very skilled. But again, it's not apples to apples. Even though we've built the data infrastructure, again, we didn't feel that the best application would be direct monetization of people's data. So this left us with this question. Okay, if we collect data, how do we use it? And how do we use it in a way that, one, generates revenue for the business, but very closely, two, is providing a service that people actually want? Because unfortunately, the two things that people right now care very little about outside of the crypto community are privacy and their data, right? So it's a challenging value prop to put to somebody to say, hey, look, give me all of your most intimate details, and I'm going to give you $10 a year, right? Like, where is that? So what we decided to do was take all of our infrastructure and see where it could be applied for the most impact. And that came down to cybersecurity. Now, the problem with cybersecurity is it's static, right? You set the program and then you wait to be attacked. Okay. That doesn't work for AI. When you think about AI threats, they are alive, like they're active. They're not just going to bounce into your wall and go back to their home, right? They're going to bounce into your wall and find a way to break through it or find a way to go around it. So your defense has to also be active. And 43% of Americans are scared that AI is going to do them harm. Now, I don't know about you, but if you have the ability to serve 43% of the biggest and best consumer base in the world, you got to focus on that. So that's what we did, right? We essentially crafted our plan. We publicly pivoted. We started to build in this direction, and that's where we are today.
It makes a ton of sense. How is this going to work in, I guess, starting with virtuals, scaling from there, and I'm curious how that'll play out. And but in virtuals, what is this going to look like? Is this like agent protection, or is this like even bigger? Is it ACP protection? Is this more of a protocol, or is it an agent?
It's both. So we'll have an agent on the network that will be there to monitor and be active. But behind the scenes, we do have a terminal running that we're currently mapping all activity to see what the best approach is. I'm gonna be transparent, Hudah.
Yeah.
I watch the show a lot, right? I listen to all of the other spaces. Right now, what virtuals founders need to do is they need to stop talking like they've got it figured out. They figured it out. It's not possible. It's not possible for a real solution to jump onto a brand new network and say, here is 100% the solution. We need to get in. We need to learn. I mean, ACP is new, right? So we've got to figure all of this stuff out on the fly. So what we're doing is we're just building in real time. So as we see a need arise, I mean, we've got crack devs, right? Like, we don't talk about our devs a lot because we don't have a public CTO, but like our dev team is powerful. You have to think we've cranked out 4 now AI products on a shoestring budget, and all of our products, they're fantastic. They're polished. They work. They do what they're supposed to do. So we're just getting in the game. That's the goal. Get in the game, get
Yep.
connected, start mapping data, and then we can figure it out.
Dude, I love you being honest like that. There are some teams that are doing like you're saying. They're getting here and they're building and they're feeling where you need to push and grow and what way the space is growing, and they're able to do that because they are such good teams. So love hearing that. Okay, so let's focus on the agent. Agent is going to be what? I'm assuming plugged in ACP. So then I'm thinking, what, plugged in each cluster? It's something that's there to protect each individual cluster. Or is he somebody that works very closely with like the Butler agent? And then what does he do? How is he protecting these agents?
So our goal is to work with the Butler agent and also with each cluster, right? We want our agent to be omnipresent, there to serve as needed. In the back, the agent is relaying all of the information to our terminal, which allows us to continue mapping. But most importantly, our agent is able to pick up on the queries, the pings, the requests, the prompts, right? So this gives us an additional data point that we can map. There are teams that we work with, like Model Guard and Walk, that are focused on different aspects of security. So we're not trying to be everything to everybody. We do want to work within the community to make sure that we all eat, because it has to be that way, right? So that's how we're focused right now. Is the agent is going to essentially be an intermediary for the terminal and that touch point for other agents. And then on the back end, the tech is just going to be, the terminal that people can check on. They can see what's going on. And as we're able to start spotting threats, which right now there aren't any, transparently.
Right. They've got it pretty well locked down, right? I mean, there's very specific commands that these agents are getting. It's very hard to get around anything like that. Would that be accurate for right now?
Yeah, I mean, frankly speaking, there's not enough volume on ACP.
Yeah.
There's not enough money, right? Like if I'm a threat actor, why would I come to a network that in total has done under 20K in revenue, right? It's not to say that that's a bad thing for ACP. It's actually a great thing, right? But the other side of it is just there's no incentive for a threat actor to come on yet. But what's coming, and I hope this is what people understand is actually going to happen with ACP, is that very soon the Society of Agents on Virtuals is going to connect to outside networks of agents. And when that happens, now the threat actors will come, because they're going to come from Web 2. They're going to come from other networks. There's going to be more attack vectors that people can leverage. And this is where we want to stand in. So what we are doing also, and we haven't shared this yet, but most people who know our history can put these pieces together. Our biggest investor is Near Foundation, right? Near has the best AI tech in the industry, bar none. Like it's not even close. All of these other providers, they are doing an amazing job and they're really going for it. But dude, Ilya, founder of Near, he wrote literally the paper that led to the AI revolution. So
what was
they
that?
know more. It's called Attention is All You Need.
Huh.
So it's the original transformer architecture, right? And Ilya, he's an advisor to Ringfence. He helps cover our blind spots. And we feel so fortunate to just have someone that is like a gigabrain in like global AI that has decided to focus on Web3 and is, committed to helping us ship something meaningful. So all that to be said, we'll be connecting these networks. Ringfence's agent will eventually become the bridge between ACP and other networks.
Okay. All right. Great. I was just going to mention too, with Near, I remember, I don't know, 6 months ago, I remember some noise bubbling up about AI brewing on Near, right? And I can't, it was maybe funding they were offering, grants, things like that. And it's been quiet since. And I wasn't sure if it was just like the AI stuff wasn't really cooking over there yet. And it sounds different. I didn't realize they had such great, I don't know, infrastructure, tools, people, in the agent space over there.
Yeah, they've got the best. And the other side of this is that Near doesn't participate in a lot of the normal Web3 stuff, and I'll leave it at that. And I think that that's why their attention has been more institutional than DGen, which is why Near will pump, but a lot of the ecosystem tokens don't really. And like, to be honest, we love Near. Like our initial plan was to launch on Near, but when we saw virtuals and we communicated this to the Near team, what we all saw together was a better way to serve everyone. Right. So that's ultimately the goal for all companies in Web3. I think I tend to take generous assumptions and assume that everyone is here to help and not here to extract. So we're fortunate that they are actually that.
There we go. I live in a similar headspace. It's a better place to be, I think, at least. But okay, so still then in ACP, first off, really cool hearing maybe there's going to be a close tie to Butler, or at least that's the goal, right? If this is something that's supposed to protect the whole ACP, Butler, I think, is where it starts because so much information, everything is getting fed through him and then back through him, on both sides. So that is pretty darn spicy. Trying to decide which question I want to ask. Are you working with virtuals like very closely with them to have that maybe that configuration that this agent is set up right there with Butler?
We are.
Spicy. Again, it makes sense. It just does. And I've been watching for these more top level infrastructure kind of things.
So let me clarify, right? And maybe I should let just people buy the hype, but like I want to level set expectations. We are communicating with a virtuals team about how we can better serve the ecosystem through Butler. We are not like locked in definitely, the connection point with Butler. So don't hear what I'm not saying. We're working on it. I think we're going to get there.
That's fair. That's a cool thing for you to clarify too. But it just makes sense. And they're a really, you work with them, we work with them. They're a great team. And they seem to have this, like, they have a high batting average for making really good decisions here. So if this is the right fit, right product for that at that place, I imagine they go for it.
Before we go to past this, I want to ask you a question. Okay, so yesterday Luna.fund came out. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on it?
I just say, man, I'm just an enjoyer. That's my role. I love everything and I love experimenting. I see some backlash, people saying like, why on ETH? It's not the place I want to trade meme coins. And I say, why not on ETH? We have, meme coin launch pads everywhere. And there are some on ETH too, but I kind of think virtuals is already that for base. If we want it to be, we saw the Virgin token, we can have meme coins there. So I kind of like Luna being a meme coin launchpad on ETH. And I think that's a cool first utility for Butler on X. So as a whole, I like it. I hope it takes off. I'm not sure it will, but again,
watching. Early signs would indicate that it's slow growing. Obviously transaction fees on ETH are, I think, problematic for meme traders who generally trade lower positions, right? But in general, I agree with you. I think that you got to swing, like you got to take your chances. They are running a business, and I think that they, like most others, are figuring out their business as they build, right? And the market changes so fast, like
right.
It's not possible. It's not like you can set a 2-year roadmap and just stick to it. It's not possible in crypto. But the other side of that is they iterate so fast. So that's what I've enjoyed working with them on, is they're really quick to spot their own mistakes, right? Like, even though the whole community is saying stuff, I guarantee before anything was posted on X, these guys are in a back room somewhere like, all right, look, we got to think about this again. Yep. So that's the most exciting thing about working with them and why we've enjoyed it so far.
I mean, dude, to the degree where since they launched their governance, like the DAO, essentially, I've said, I don't really want it. I like their decisions, even if they're not all perfect. I'd rather just trust them to make those decisions and then pivot if they're not the right decisions. Like I'd rather not have the community involved at all with this stuff, all on them. That's kind of the respect I have for them. How are you feeling about the governance stuff in general?
It's fine. I mean, it's DAOs generally are inefficient, right? So it's not like virtuals is doing anything like all DAOs, in my opinion, are, proxies for just the teams making the decisions themselves. And that's okay, right? Like, so are corporate boards, by the way, right? Like
right.
Meta has tons of investors, but it doesn't matter. If Zuckerberg says something, that's what they do, right? And that's how it should be with startups. And virtuals is still a startup. It's really important to understand that, like, they have not gone 0 to 1 yet. Okay. Like we're not in a place where we can say that virtuals has reached that point. They are still in their 0 to 1 journey. And in that journey, everyone needs to be understanding that you just have to believe in them, right? You need to believe in them. You need to support them. You need to appreciate when they fuck up and they call it out. Because the worst thing that a team can do is not ever shift, right? Like, a lot of people talk crap about pivoting in a business, but in reality, business is all pivoting. It's just about what's publicly messaged. Yep. Like, as a CEO, your whole day is just spent solving problems. Like, I love security and I love the data stuff, but it's not like I get to work on that, right? Like, I spend all day, putting out fires, fixing issues. That's my job, right? Yep. And virtuals, I think, does such an amazing job of spotting those fires, putting them out, and moving on quickly. It's exciting. It's exciting to be affiliated with them.
Yeah, dude, I love how you mentioned how early it is for virtuals. Still, like, when all is said and done, it's not definite that this is going to happen, but there's a chance this happens. That virtuals is, man, like a poly market, like a pump fund. It's one of those platforms or products that has that real product market fit. And they've got an interesting potential to be so big that they're outside of our bubble, our echo chamber here, and, you know, the crypto, Twitter, whatever. They've got this mainstream, different kind of appeal because they lean into the internet capital markets meta. We don't talk about it. We, you know, mentioned it yesterday. We don't talk about that enough. That's kind of what's happening here. I know Solana's stealing that narrative, but no, it's actually happening right here on virtuals. But they have the AI meta as well. They got a lot going on, and I think the world, like, again, outside of our echo chamber, is really going to take notice of it soon. I'm hoping so. The potential's there.
Well, I mean, I think I still am convinced that the entire industry is sleeping on the base app. Yeah, I mean, you had Brian Armstrong, the leader of the first meaningful publicly traded crypto company, coming out in support of the base app, and not only supporting it, but completely pivoting the Coinbase app to a base app, right? This means that every project launching on virtuals immediately gets exposure to 10 million plus users. And you can rest assured that Coinbase is going to continue dumping cash to convert more customers, which means that our total addressable market as a business, the ecosystem's total addressable market for like speculators, is going to continue to grow exponentially. So again, this comes down to like, never kill yourself, be a cockroach, just survive. Like, build meaningful shit and survive to see it gain traction.
Oh man. All right, Whitney. Okay, I'm going to get us back on track with Ringfence and into some more technical stuff. You and I have got to do this, I think, again, and maybe regularly, to shoot the shit talking about this
Always
ecosystem.
down.
Like, man, yeah, I think we got a lot more to talk through here. On Ringfence, I want to get back into, like, again, the technical part. What does it look like when he's protecting us? Because, like, I love that line, that immune system line. And I was thinking about an immune system, and there's like a few layers to it, right? There's like this proactive layer to an immune system. There's the response layer, and there's you know, maybe at the tail end, after it's, you know, mitigated a threat, you develop an immunity to it. Are there analogs here for how Ringfence works?
Yes. So what you won't do is develop immunity to a threat, right? Ringfence will, like, as a system, we will be able to easily identify and quarantine those same threats again, right? So in a way, I guess that grows your immune system.
Yeah.
But the easiest way to think of Ringfence functionally is as a flagging and notification system, right? So we spot the threat and we notify other agents that the threat exists. If the threat persists, we notify other agents to terminate endpoint connections, and that effectively quarantines the agent, right? So the other side of this, which would be easier but would be super invasive, is like, we take control of everyone's endpoints. Like, we take control of your ACP endpoint and we just operate your business. But that will never happen. I am like a libertarian. I believe in self-sovereignty. There is a 0% chance I will ever I'll never fuck with somebody else's business, is the easiest way to think of it. People have spent a long time building whatever they're building, whether it's ideating or actually building. All we want to do is be a buffer, right? And we're going to tell people that threats exist. We're going to notify them of the actions that we think they should take. But at the end of the day, everyone has to make their own business decisions. So that's the easiest way to think of it, is we flag it, we notify agents, and then they do with that information what they will.
Yep. Okay. Very cool. What do the threats look like? If you got some examples of what kind of threats, if they don't exist right now, because there's, you know, like you said, there's not a ton of volume. What are the kind of threats you're expecting to see kind of quickly? And like, I know we've seen stuff like one-off stuff outside of ACP, people, you know, trying to engineer an agent to have it send him his whole wallet contents. And it did happen once, right? Somebody got $50,000 or it was 50 ETH, you know, kind of engineering this agent. Somebody hacked, you know, AI XBT at one point. I don't know if hack is the perfect term for it, but it's happening out there already. So in this agentic like economy, what does that look like between agents?
So that's the main thing that we want to solve for first, right? Is how do people keep control of the funds in their wallet? Because you look at something like Shekel, which I think is a great solution, right? The risk with Shekel is just that. You know, it's the risk that somebody's going to hack in and control your funds. Now with Shekel, it's not as much of a risk because truthfully, every person isn't operating their own agent, right? But
This is Kosher
they
Capital.
will
That's
be.
the Shekel.
Yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
Kosher Capital.
Yep.
I tend to speak in tickers.
We get it.
So yeah, the the goal is to make sure that we can have complete control, or that agents can have complete control over their own wallets, so that they can transact securely. Because, and I come from the payment processing background. I've done so many random things as I've built businesses. Anyways, the risk that we want to make sure that we are protecting against is just that, wallet draining. That's the first thing, because people have to have money to transact on ACP. And if you have people coming in with full wallets and leaving with empty wallets, and none of that money goes to meaningful services, they're never coming back, right? So that's the first step. And then after that, it's going to come down to thinking about things like semantic drift, which we're working with Model Guard on, or transaction verification or smart contract verification, which is what we're going to work with Walk on. These are all things that are very specific to Web3. Once we start expanding out and we're looking at our bridge to other ecosystems, this is when we're really going to be focused on social engineering attacks, right? Because when you connect with, let's say Virtuals and Creator Bids ecosystem connect, okay? Now we have a controllable ecosystem in Virtuals, right? Where we're connected with the team. We understand what's coming up. There's Genesis launch to protect bad agents from getting funded and on the network. And then we're connecting it to a bunch of unknowns. And once we connect to a bunch of unknowns, this is where a real benefit comes in, because Virtuals shouldn't have to spend the money to map and secure other networks, right? But we want to do that. So then everyone is able to be safe and protected in both ecosystems, and we can know with certainty what normal behavior looks like, so that we can spot anything before there's crossover.
Got it. Okay. You mentioned a couple really like names I like a lot. Whack, great guys, great builders. Like they're some of my favorites in this space. And then Model Guard. I don't think you know what? I think I'm chatting with them to get them on the show, but like get what they're doing. Respect those guys too. So do they help you kind of build your detection algorithm in their specialties? Right? Is that how that works?
No, we don't let anyone touch our reasoning models. Our algorithms are our own. That's really what's proprietary in any AI project, right? I've heard people on the show and other shows talk about AI wrappers. It's all a wrapper, right? Like none of us have raised $100 million. Therefore, none of us are building our own models. Therefore, everything is a wrapper. Therefore, shut the fuck up, right? So we just got to focus on what we got to major in the majors is how we think of it.
Sure.
So yeah, we're focused on, on those things.
Yep. Okay. So let's say there is some kind of threat. Someone is trying to drain a user or like an agent's wallet, whatever that ends up looking like. How is Ringfence protecting? Like, what does that part of the process look like?
It all comes down to the notification system, right? So we'll be able to spot the anomalous activity, the odd behavior, right? And then we notify the entire network. So now the entire network should be on notice of this agent. Now, if they're going to rely entirely on us, then they're going to have to wait until the third strike for us to quarantine. And the reason for this is models hallucinate. And we, again, operating under generous assumptions, we have to assume that it wasn't malicious, that it was just an accident, right? But by 3 times, we'll understand it's not an accident and it's malicious. And truthfully, the first time everyone should disconnect endpoints just to be safe. And but we'll see how that plays out. We'll see if people actually listen to that. My guess is that at first, until people understand what we're doing, they won't. And there will be some actions that are negative that impact people. And then through negative actions, our adoption will come, right? Like nobody buys insurance unless they absolutely have to or they need it. It's kind of the same thing with us. With regards to Model Guard is backed by the DeFi safety team. Okay. And I don't put my name publicly on things. Okay. I talked with the team at Model Guard for literally 6 months before I committed to being a partner, right? They are a team of legitimate docs builders. DeFi Safety has major backers, the biggest being Andre Cronje from Yearn and now Sonic. They're a legit team. And they are taking the same approach as us. They know what they know. They know what AI will be. They know the solutions that need to exist, but it's figuring out how to bridge all of those, right? Because everything is still experimental. So I'm confident that, right now, for one, I don't think anyone is going to step in and be able to do what they are doing as a team. And as we move towards an era where like insurance for agents is a very real need, we want to be connected with people who are doing the actuarial services so that we as a security system are able to cheat off their homework, so to speak, right? Like they do a rating. Now we can kind of get a sense of what a thing is as it enters the network, and we don't have to like spend the extra time figuring all that stuff out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're great, by the way. How big is your team? I don't mean to jump back towards the beginning, but you
All good.
mentioned you have like six devs, I think. How? Yeah, team. I'm
Yeah,
curious about.
so we have we're very lean. So we only work with contracted devs except for our project managers who are all equity and token holders, right? They generally are going to be listed as advisors on our project. So we have 3 full-time team and we have 4 devs and then we have 2 project managers.
It's a good sized team, honestly. I mean, it's lean, but good size, especially if you got like those quality people. You can do a lot with a team like that, man.
Yeah.
Dude, roadmap and token. I mean, if we're talking about an upcoming Genesis launch, and we do got some degens here, we got the
Sure.
token launch coming in what, 7 days, 8 days? How's that
Yep.
going? How are you prepping for it? But maybe we quickly get to tokenomics. What's the token for?
Yeah. So we are going to be releasing our tokenomics very soon. We are still truthfully working on some things behind the scenes before we release them. And what we don't want to do is change. Like once these are posted, we want them to be gospel, right? Because people are going to be making decisions, like financial decisions based on this information. So it would be like really irresponsible of us to put anything out before it's 100% locked. People will understand that we have made this mistake in the past. Like, and if you've been involved in the Ringfence community, we did a thing called a data agent sale in November, December of 2024, right? And at that time, we were taking the approach of essentially building a network of nodes that would process personal data and then allow us to better utilize it, whether it's through monetization or through training a model. But as we've built and we're now connected to a network of agents, every agent is a node. So we no longer needed our data agents, right? So what we did is, we made a lot of commitments to these data agent owners, and rightfully they were like, what the hell is going on? So we have obviously smoothed that over. All of our data agents will get some of the Ringfence tokens as they go live. It will actually be more tokens than they would have gotten if they had ran the actual node on the network for 4 years. So it's a win for them. I know some people are just nerds like me and they just want to run a node. So those people are never going to be truly happy. And that's that we can't be everything to everybody. But our goal was to make sure that these data agent owners were more than made whole from their node purchase. And truthfully, our data agent owners got the biggest Chavi airdrop. And most of them, if they sold, they recouped their data agent investment already. So now everything is just gravy. But we fortunately or unfortunately have a lot of very committed community who didn't sell, right? So we want to make sure that they still cover their nut.
It's good of you. It's also cool to hear you've got the community already baked in. You've got it already. And I hopped in your Discord and it's very active and you got thousands, 10, 15,000 people in there. So, there's a lot coming with this launch, right? People are going to get into your ecosystem via this token. Just know that there's a community that's already there and it's a big one.
Yeah, and the other side of the token
placeholder.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll fire this after.
Well, so it's for us, and I am of the belief that a token is both the best thing and the worst thing to happen to a project, right? Because before it's all hype, it's all speculation, it's all build up, okay? And then after it launches, it's completely detached from reality, right? It has there's very little that impacts it on a business standpoint. There's very little that matters except for attention. And we've all seen charts die, right? And for anyone who'd like to see an example of what a dead chart looks like, go to Chavi, right? And here's what happened with Chavi. We built the full product and we released it, right? Like that was, we built exactly what we said we were going to build. We were very upfront with everyone that it was experimental. The platform worked just as intended. But because we didn't come out and pump BS hype, the chart levels off. It doesn't matter who the team is. It doesn't matter what we've built. It is all just that attention. That doesn't work long-term, right? So maybe this is a little bit of inside baseball. I haven't shared this publicly yet, but I've built something that will sit on the side of Ringfence as a separate platform. And on that platform, Ringfence and potentially other teams will manage all investor relations. So you'll have mindshare campaigns, you'll have streaming services, you'll have token gated chats, you'll have media pages, and everything will be fed by a token flywheel. so that Ringfence and future teams no longer need to set aside an allocation that they're just going to give away for free to a community who may or may not appreciate the token, right? In an ideal world, you give an airdrop to people who are going to ride with you, right? They're going to be with you long term, but everybody has to make money. So the other side of this is, as a team, you can't expect people to hold. Like if you pump 100x, you should be encouraging everyone to sell. Like it's irresponsible not to. So we've built this system that will hopefully return value to not only our stakeholders, but also continue to allow us to generate more revenue, which we can use to buy back and burn the token. Our goal, the minute we release the token, is to buy it all and burn it all. So we're going to create essentially this game where, like, it's our goal to buy all of your tokens from you and destroy them so that only we have tokens and they're super high priced, right? Now at some point, the community is going to decide we're not selling you shit, right? Like if you want to buy these tokens, you're going to have to buy them for a multiple above. And if we achieve that, everybody wins and we're happy, right? So that's really going to be our approach, similar to Hyperliquid, but we're not operating on a $1 million a day bankroll yet.
No, but dude, that's so cool. Even just you talking about like how realistic, unrealistic, like the token action is or price action is after TGE. And it's more about the expectations of the community that, trust me, as builders, everybody does listen and your voice matters. But it's, some of you guys know this, like we do have an older audience, I think, and we people have been around and they get what I'm about to say. A lot of the expectations for what a token should do after is pretty unrealistic. It's just, we want the hype. We want the constant updates, and you deserve updates. You deserve some of what you're asking, but the unrelenting hype, it doesn't make sense and it's never sustainable. And you've heard every builder that comes on the show says the same thing. And man, if we can normalize that and build a product that's helping us get to that goal, man, I'm behind you. I'm rooting for you, whatever it is you're cooking up. So that just needs to be said way more. What I was going to ask earlier there, excuse me, sorry about that. So that's a placeholder tokenomics, right? That's like a default.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. Literally the only thing that's changed on this profile is we added the Ringfence account, and then we put the tagline, right? Without an immune system, we die. That's all that's there right now. There is more information on the website. Tokenomic information is going to come. Gitbook will come as we're ready to let people integrate our SDK, and then we'll release the terminal, which you see right there. We'll release the live terminal once we are live and trading.
Okay, great. Do you have, I don't know if you've already put this out there, but utility for the token, the Ring token?
So we treat the token as a product, right? So I think utility tokens, really with the rise of stable coins, I think utility tokens are going to be replaced by stable coins. And I think companies that are trying to work their token into a product that they hope to gain mass adoption is the wrong approach. So what we instead do is we treat the token as a revenue generating product, right? So we're able to generate revenue in two ways. We've got ACP fees and we have token trading, like the token tax, right? So this allows us to then understand, like, how much money should we be investing in marketing the token? But we have our own P&L for it. It's a revenue stream and it is a product line, and we treat it as such. So that's how we're mapping the token. If we do this right, and transparently, it's all an experiment, but I think we're going to fucking nail it. If we do this right, everyone will benefit, and we will shift a narrative in a way that is more beneficial to agents, because we need to build towards our tokens not being a part of the process. Because if we really want agentic adoption, we have to be focused on stable coins. We're building with Base, like as virtuals, you got to be focused on USDC, right? Like they're going to do their part to make sure that a bunch of people with fat USDC wallets come onto the Base app. We need to be ready to catch that load, for lack of a better way of putting it, right? So
you're saying, like, it's crazy hearing you say some of what you're saying, like specifically about stable coins. Did I hear you right? You think more projects that should be a stable coin, or they should launch a stable coin as their platform token?
No, their platform should operate on stable coins.
Gotcha.
They should stop trying to figure out how to get another token in somebody's wallet. They should understand that tokens are speculative vehicles that are not tied to business revenue. They are not tied to anything other than attention, customer conversion, and revenue. And we do a disservice by saying otherwise, right? So I think that, even L1 tokens, gas tokens, right? They will eventually go by the wayside for the majority of projects. Everything is going to translate to stablecoins, with the exception of, I think, RWAs. or tokenized securities, because those are just proxies for other assets.
Yeah. It's cool because you're just saying something out loud that I think about often enough. Again, why aren't we just using stable coins in these projects as opposed to these super speculative tokens that up, down, and it's just causing more problems than it's solving? I think most of them aren't solving much, if anything. And they're fun to speculate on. If you want a token there because it captures attention and there's something fun you can do with that, great. But for most of them, that's their purpose. And again, I don't think we say that enough. So it's good hearing like talk around this.
It also allows us to be more attuned to the real token community. Like in Web3, we often bundle everything together and we try to market. Frankly, we try to shove down the throats of the community a product that they'll never use and a token that all they want is really number go up technology, right? Yeah. So how do you build a token product with number go up technology and a technical product that can gain mass adoption to have a dual revenue stream successful business? That's how we think about everything.
Yep. I think my last, I guess I got a couple more. I'll try to keep these quick. The terminal, I think you described as something that you're mapping out these agentic ecosystems and you'll see alerts kind of flow through this terminal. Is that going to be gated by the token or is that going to be open?
Open, no token gating.
Open.
Yep.
Okay.
No token gating at all. There truly is, the token is a separate product entirely.
Got it. And then terminal, is it like just a visual thing? Is that something you can interact with, like throw natural language prompts at it?
It's just visual. Your natural language prompts are still going to go to the butler. Got it.
Okay. Very, very cool. Maybe then the last thing is, I guess we've been beating around it most of the stream here, but community. You've already got it. So how important is it to you to now grow that community and get people like engaged in your ecosystem? And again, like these, I ask these just like kind of default to when the projects come on. You've already tackled this stuff. How do you grow the community? How do you grow your reach and expand? Again, you've already, I think, are nailing this. We saw the mindshare stuff.
So community is everything to us, right? What I would love is to grow a community of like more assholes. That may sound bad, but like we need people in our circle who are not gonna sugarcoat it, but they're also not gonna be the like when token crowd, right? Like if you're gonna be purchasing Ringfence's token, don't like, we're going to give you all of the information that you need to speculate on the token, right? I'm never going to come out and give you direct information on token go up or token go down because I'm doxxed and I'm American and I like my family and I don't want to go to jail, right? So I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that the business thrives and therefore the token thrives. And I want people in our community who are going to ride with us. They understand what we're after. They understand why, like they understand this is a long-term investment. Will there be some short-term hype? 100%. Are there going to be chances for you to, make some money? I really, really hope so. But from a business standpoint, we need the road dogs who are just going to jump in and they're going to be like, look, I don't like the way that this looks. Or when I click this button, this is what happens. It's shit UX, right? Now, most communities that I've been a part of, their founders tend to get defensive, right? I look at it like iron sharpening iron. Like, come in and talk your shit, right? Like, maybe you're going to see something that we don't see. Fresh eyes are always wanted, right? And we can't get better if people don't force us to. Like we know what we know and we're building what we know. If some fresh eyes don't come in and say, hey, look, get your head out of your ass, this is wrong, like we do with virtuals, right? Then nobody can improve. Yeah.
Dude, this is refreshing to hear. It is. It's just good to hear somebody. I think it's the experience talking that you've been around building in this, in crypto for so long. And it's the experience and the reps talking here. It's like no more kind of sugarcoating stuff, no more of the fluff. It's very direct. Here's what helps us grow. Here's how you can help us grow. Here's what we can do. Again, we don't hear this kind of stuff often enough. So man, I'm a Whitney fan. I think that's going to make me a Ringfence fan.
Let's go.
I'm in. So I got this circled on my calendar. This is the next drop that I give a shit about over the next. Well, it's the only thing on the Genesis board right now I give a shit about. So it's pretty. Yeah, Carbon, right? Yeah. No, that kind of sums it up. I'm going to leave it just for another minute here for questions from anybody who's watching here, and anything from you. If we didn't touch something that's really important, you want to make sure people know. Hit us with that now.
The only thing that I would say is I'm always available. Right? I try to get back to my DMs unless you're messaging me about some like KOL partnership. I try to respond to everything. Yeah, so just hit me up. I'm always accessible. I try to make sure DMs aren't closed. If there's ever an issue, just ping me on Twitter or jump in the Discord and tag me or DM me, right? I'm terminally online for usually 18 hours a day. So yeah, I mean, just as an example, I'm on vacation right now, right? Like, but I've been here for 3 weeks. I think I've left the house twice. So this is what I love, man. This is it. Like, I like this stuff, right? Like, that's the cool thing. I'm not doing it for the money. Like, I'm fortunate in that regard, right? I'm doing this because I really want to help people. Like, and I think we got something here that if we nail it, it's going to change people's ability to operate online everywhere, not just in agentic ecosystems, but online full stop, safely. Like, you're going to know that like your data isn't getting raped by some rando that's going to just sell it for millions of dollars while you get nothing. You're not going to have to worry about getting calls from loved ones that are fake to scam you out of your hard-earned cash, right? Our goal is to hopefully get to a place where we can charge $150 subscription and save you $150,000 a year, right? Like, that's the end goal.
Yep. Dude, awesome stuff. We'll have to do this again when product is live. We're watching it in action. We're seeing what the prevention and detection stuff is looking like live. That volume's going to get there and we'll be able to watch it. So good stuff. Mike did ask something about quantum integrations. I don't know what that means, Mike. Maybe
it's too soon to tell, Mike. It's too soon to tell. Like, again, we are a lean startup, right? So to explore quantum really requires it's a boatload of cash. Right. Generally speaking, because I come from Bitcoin mining, the thought has always been that quantum is going to come for Bitcoin. Okay. In reality, Mike's question is absolutely legitimate because quantum is not going to come for Bitcoin. Quantum is going to come for your bank account. That's what threat actors are going to use quantum for. So we are aware of it. But on one side, quantum isn't quite there yet. And it's not accessible to threat actors at scale. And then the other side is we need to get to a place where we are better capitalized in order to be able to properly staff a specific team just for quantum. Because this isn't something that like the normal front end, back end, full stack person can come in and tackle, or even a data scientist. These are highly specialized people who are able to detect and stop quantum threats.
Dude, good stuff. Guys, follow Ringfence. It's Ringfence AI. Am I reading that? Yeah, there we go. Ringfence AI on X. Follow this man, dude. He's freaking awesome. Whit Gibbs, also on X. I'm dropping the links in the chat here too.
Thanks,
Hudah. Second for that. Yeah, dude, you rock. Really, really cool stuff. I cannot wait to see this go live next week here. And there we go, guys. Just a heads up too, just a quick local update. I mentioned Arbus Chirps. They have their new InfoFi platform up and live now with a few campaigns that you'll be able to grind out here for some airdrops. And your Swarm is one of those projects, so we'll share details on that soon here. But those guys are cooking too, and I love anybody who's building this space. So take a look at that. And then come over to YouTube, subscribe to CryptoSlam over on this side, guys. We keep getting these awesome people on the show, man. And man, if you can't catch them live, you got to catch them. You got to still watch them and hear what these people have to say. It's important stuff. So catch the replays over here too. Again, CryptoSlam on YouTube. There we are. Guys, have a great day. I might be live later today. We'll talk NFTs and crypto if so. But I hope your day's awesome, and we'll see you tomorrow with Legend. We'll have Mo from Animoca on the show chatting the Legend project. Really interesting one. Whitney, thank you again, dude. Again, treat having you on the show. So thank you, man.
Thanks for having me, Hudah. It's been a pleasure. Look forward to doing it again.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Guys, we'll see you later. Goodbye.